A group of racist men targets the wrong black woman, but she fights back and sparks justice. The late afternoon sun painted the park in warm hues, the golden light filtering through, branches that swayed gently in the breeze. The laughter of children playing on a jungle gym mingled with the occasional chirp of unseen birds. On a worn wooden bench near the pond, Maya Cross sat in quiet contemplation, her black leather jacket folded beside her. Dressed in a simple gray t-shirt and dark jeans, she appeared relaxed, but a closer look revealed the sharpness in her gaze, a quiet intensity that belonged to someone who never fully let their guard down. A faint scar along her forearm was the only visible sign of the life Maya had lived, a life forged through grit and combat as a former Navy SEAL. Though years had passed since her time on active duty, the habits born in war zones never truly faded. Her sharp eyes scanned the park as if on instinct. A jogger passed by, offering a polite nod, which she returned. Across the playground, a group of teenagers lingered too long near a bench, their loud chatter drawing brief but disinterested glances from others. It wasn't until Maya's gaze flickered toward an old oak tree on the park's far side that something shifted, for men stood there, loitering with the kind of energy that made her instincts prickle. The leader, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a buzzed head and a tattoo snaking up his neck, grinned as he talked his laughter sharp and mean. "Look at her," the man muttered, jerking his head in Maya's direction, sitting there all smug like, "She owns the place." The wiry man beside him, a thin figure with a patchy beard, cracked his knuckles. "She won't look so smug when we're through, but she's all mouth and no fight." Maya felt their gaze before she turned to confirm it. She held their stare for a moment long, enough to let them know she wasn't afraid, before shifting her attention back to the water. Still, her mind sharpened. They were trouble. She adjusted her posture slightly, keeping one arm draped casually over the back of the bench while the other rested near the strap of her back. Her breathing remained slow, measured, though her pulse quickened ever so slightly. The men began to move. The leader, Trevor Tank Thompson, strode forward with deliberate steps, his boots crunching against the gravel. Patchy Beard followed at his side, while the other, two both younger, flanked behind them like over-rigger hunting dogs. "Afternoon," Tank said, his voice dripping with mock politeness. "Mighty nice day to be out here. Alone, don't you think?" Maya didn't flinch. She tilted her head up slowly, her expression calm, but unyielding. "It was a nice day until you showed up." Patchy Beard let out a low laugh, his yellowed teeth visible in his grin. "You hear that, Tank? She's got a mouth on her. Guess she thinks she's better than us." One of the younger men sneered. Tank's grin faltered slightly, but he recovered, leaning closer. "We just want to have a little chat. Be polite and hand over that bag of yours. We wouldn't want things to get messy now, would we?" Maya's lips curled into the faintest smirk as she spoke evenly. "You really think I'm going to give you what you want?" Tank's smile disappeared entirely. "Watch your mouth, lady." His words hung heavy in the air, the group closing in around her. Maya's sharp mind cataloged every detail. Their proximity, the uneven weight distribution in their stances, their lack of coordinated movement. She stood slowly, her frame still relaxed, but her posture projecting quiet authority. "You're making a mistake," she said calmly, her eyes locked on Tank's. "Walk away while you still can." Patchy Beard stepped forward, his voice rising with false bravado. "Or what? You'll call the cops? Like they'd show up for someone like you?" "Yeah," one of the younger men added. "But you think you're untouchable, acting all high and mighty out here." Tank took another step, his face inches from Maya's. "You don't scare us, lady." Maya's eyes narrowed. "You should be." The first punch came from one of the younger men, a wild, uncoordinated swing. Maya sidestepped effortlessly, grabbing his arm and twisting it with practiced precision. He yelped in pain as she shoved him backward, sending him sprawling onto the ground. The group froze, the shift in momentum catching them off guard. What the hell? Patchy Beard snarled, his fists raising instinctively. Tank's face contorted with fury. Get her. The attack came in waves, sloppy and panicked. Patchy Beard lunged, throwing a haymaker meant to overwhelm her. But Maya ducked, driving, her elbow into his ribs with enough force to make him stumble back, gasping. One of the younger men grabbed a broken branch from the ground and swung it like a bat. Maya pivoted, stepping inside his reach and knocking the makeshift weapon from his grip. A quick shove sent him crashing into a nearby tree. The wind knocked clean out of him. Tank roared with rage, charging at her head-on. His size and strength were formidable, but Maya's training was sharper. She sidestepped at the last moment, hooking his ankle and sending him face-first into the gravel. When he rose, dirt streaked across his face, his pride clearly wounded. He swung wildly, his movements fueled more by anger than skill. Maya blocked with ease, landing a precise strike to his solar plexus. The air whooshed out of him as he staggered backward. The fight didn't last much longer. When the final man stumbled to his feet, bruised and dazed, he looked at Maya calm, unscathed and utterly unshaken. For the first time, fear flickered in his eyes. Enough, Tank growled, clutching his ribs. Let's go. Patchy Beard spat on the ground, glaring at her. You'll regret this, lady. You don't know who you're messing with. Maya's eyes narrowed as she adjusted the strap of her back. I know exactly who I'm messing with, and now you know who you shouldn't mess with. The group retreated slowly, their bravado shattered. As they limped away, Maya watched them disappear into the trees. Only then did she allow herself a breath, her muscles still humming with adrenaline. The next day, news of the confrontation spread like wildfire. Officer Caleb Reyes, a no-nonsense detective with the local police, sat across from Maya at a nearby precinct, his brow furrowed. You're telling me 4 men tried to jump you, and you walked away without a scratch? He asked. Maya sipped her coffee, her gaze steady. They started it. I finished it. Reyes shook his head, flipping through his notes. The leader, this Tank guy, has a rap sheet mile long, assaults, threats, and harassment complaints. Most of his victims were too afraid to press charges. Then maybe it's time someone did, Maya replied. Reyes's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. You're not telling me everything, are you? Who are you? Really? Maya didn't answer directly. Let's just say I don't scare easily, and neither should anyone else. As Reyes began piecing together Tank's operation, it became clear this wasn't an isolated incident. Tank and his crew were part of a larger hate-fueled network, one that terrorized minorities and pushed communities out of their neighborhoods. Maya knew she couldn't walk away. With Reyes on her side and her skills from years in the Navy SEALs, she started digging deeper. What she uncovered was bigger than she imagined. Secret meetings, shell companies, funneling money to extremist groups, and a shadowy figure funding it all. The fight against Tank's gang had only been the beginning. Over the following weeks, Reyes worked with Maya to dismantle the network piece by piece. Arrests were made, testimonies were given, and when Tank was finally brought into court, his bravado crumbled under the weight of undeniable evidence. At the trial's end, Maya stood in the back of the courtroom, arms crossed, as the judge read the verdict. Guilty on all charges. Outside the courthouse, Reyes approached her, a rare smile breaking his usual stern expression. You did good work. Cross. Maya met his gaze, her voice steady. We all did. But this isn't over. People like Tank are everywhere. We just have to keep fighting. Reyes nodded. One battle at a time. As Maya walked away, the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the courthouse steps. The fight against hate wasn't over, but this battle had been won, and she was ready for whatever came next. Thank you for watching. If you believe in justice and standing up for what's right, subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. Share this video to spread the message and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.